All right, so we're going to talk about the coordinate plane today, and this is when you might want to use graph paper so that you can count these on the number line. So we're sort of used to a number line, and we know that we can have a line. If we call this 0, then we can start labeling these by any increments, but we're just going to do 1 right now. So we're going, if we put 0 in the middle, we've got negative numbers that go to the left and positive numbers that go to the right. This, though, on a coordinate plane is called our x-axis. Then we also have one that runs vertical, and it is called our y-axis. And just like the number line, so if this is at our point 0, then we can count up, which would be our positive numbers going up. And then our negative numbers would go down or away from that 0. And so this is called the coordinate grid or coordinate plane. So we have what we call the origin, and that is the point of the x and the y-axis intersection. And so where these two cross would be right here, and so that point would be 0, 0. So we have ordered pairs. We can label points on here. And the first of our ordered pair is always that x-axis distance on that number line, or we call it the x-coordinate. And then the second number is the y-axis, the distance it is on that one, on the y-axis. And that's called our y-coordinate. And so every ordered pair is always in the format of some x value and some y value. Okay, so let's say we have got a point that we label here, right there, and we're going to call that point A. All right, so how do we know how to label this? Well, we're going to look at how many units it is on the x-axis. So you always go right and left first. So this goes to 1, 2, 3, 4 units. Notice that it's at 4. So that x-coordinate is 4. Then we're going to see, okay, well, how do we get to it on the y-axis? Then we're going down 1 unit, 2 units, 3 units, and so that's negative 3. So that point A is on our coordinate plane called 4, negative 3. 4 units on the x-axis. So here's our 4 units here. And then we went 3 units down, so negative 3. Okay, so we could label some more points on here and try to come up with what they would be called. So let's say this one is B. All right, so again, we do the x-axis first. So we go negative 1 on the x-axis. And then we're going up 2 units on the y-axis. So B is negative 1, 2. And that's how you always label those as ordered pairs. So let's just do another one over here. All right, so you try to see if you can figure out what this one is. Let's label it point C. And on our x-axis, how many units are we going? We're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's going to be 5. And then we're going from the x-axis 1, 4. And that's positive 4. So point C is 5, 4. All right, so hopefully maybe you're getting the hang of that. The next thing that we want to talk about are the quadrants. So we have our, and let me just draw another one here so you can see it. So we have quadrants in these things. And if we label these, and I'm just going to do a quick small one here for us, -1, -2. Then I'm going to draw, let's do blue. All right, so if you can remember, your favorite math teacher is Miss Caraway. So you draw a big C in here. And you start here. This is quadrant 1. Then you go to quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. So if you can remember your favorite math teacher, make a C. You just know they're creating the quadrants 1, 2, 3, and 4. So let's talk about what would happen in each quadrant. So if I had a point in quadrant 1, well, he's going to be a positive number and a positive number. If I have a point in quadrant 2, and you don't have to use Roman numerals, you could put the number 2 if you want. Notice I'm going negative in the x-axis, but then positive in the y-axis. So he's going to be a negative number and then a positive number. If I have a point in quadrant 3, notice he's going negative and then negative. Negative x, negative y. And then if we have it in a point in quadrant 4, if it's anywhere over in this area, then he's going to be positive and then negative. And let's see, I could have maybe shaded those to help you see that, but or color coordinated them, but hopefully you'll understand the quadrants once you do a few of these. So let's just take a point, and let's say we've got -2, 3. All right, so we should be able to draw a coordinate plane, each one of these being 1 unit. And say, okay, well, A is going to be 2 units on the x-axis. So here's 1, 2, -2, and then 3 units on the y-axis. So we're going up to here. So this would be A. Now, can you tell me what quadrant that's in? Well, if you look above, that would be in quadrant 2. Okay, so hopefully you're getting the hang of being able to use those points and know where they are in our coordinate plane.